Dystopia. Come to see us and don't be late. Pear Shaped is just a fiver to come in, and we hope you'll be coming back again to Pear Shaped in Dystopia on a Wednesday night at 8:30.
Yes, that was exciting, wasn't it? I've never heard that intro before, have you?
Yes.
Oh.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and people all round the world, even people on roofs everywhere who cannot aim, for God's sake. So, good evening. Welcome to Pear Shaped in Dystopia. The show is actually named after the planet that we live on. The whole planet seems to be... It shouldn't be
dystopia.
Earth, just dystopia. Dystopia. It's like that dystopia, but different. Yeah, I like a bit of improvisation there.
Oh dear.
You know, I love it when you put on the podcast and there's two comedians, they're laughing their fucking heads off at each other's jokes, and one go, oh, I bet there's a little comedy around you. Oh yeah, lots of comedy around my house, and giggling and laughing and
yeah, well, you're lucky that I don't laugh at your jokes.
Yeah, no, you don't look. You don't. That's
I
why.
don't laugh at much at all. Really.
That's why we're together. That's why we're together, because I appreciate a bit of peace and quiet, especially when I'm going around being hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, when you're trying to talk to somebody and they go, you go, I can't get any words in because they go, everything is so funny, isn't it? You know, especially with comedy. Imagine having to live with a comedian. It's got to be unbearable. Unbearable.
Well, luckily I don't have a sense of humour, so we're all right.
No, you're very lucky. And, luckily I have one, because somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You know?
So shall we introduce the team?
See, if we were running a comedy club, right, I would be on the stage behind the microphone. You would be next to the door behind the desk, frowning at people and glaring as they arrive. Yeah. And people asking, is there really comedy here tonight or not? You know,
usually not.
Well, that's
it's subjective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's introduce the team.
Yes, we have a team. Yes.
There we go.
We should start with the managing director.
Managing director.
Who is Mr. Anthony Miller.
Yes, I
Anthony, just to set an example to Al, who's just arrived, I will not speak when you're trying to say something, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so I won't join in, especially if I think if I can sense the punchline.
Yeah.
I won't join in at all, you know. Unlike Al, who...
interrupts is the word.
I will not interrupt. So, ladies and gentlemen, the uninterruptible Anthony Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Damage. As Chief Operating Officer, it's good to have you at the helm, making sure that everything runs smoothly and the volume is correct and all the technical difficulties are ironed out for the 3 people who watch.
Well, it's a responsible job, and we're watching you upstairs. We're keeping an eye on you, and you know, we're very proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. Don't listen to what anybody else says. Be proud.
I'll keep you informed of what goes on the shop floor.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Anthony Miller, the one and only, and ladies and gentlemen, we also have lady. She
might just be a woman.
It could be a woman. She might not be a lady.
Yeah.
She may just give the impression.
If she's anything like me, she's just a woman.
Oh, all right then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, ELISE HARRIS.
Hello. I'm definitely a human being. I think we can more or less establish that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm delighted to hear it.
Good.
not 100% certain.
See, she was a normal woman. She wouldn't stop talking, you know. But I mean, I have to talk just to because she doesn't say very much. You know, she comes to go, "Hello, I'm Elise." That's all right, you know.
Yeah.
She's. I think she's. Oh, Elise, you're also setting an example to Al. Do not.
Good.
interrupt.
I'm glad to be
Commodist
the goat
interrupter.
that is leading us all into
The goat.
destruction. The goat.
Well, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Elise. You will be hearing more from Elise later on, I'm sure. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Dickie Richards.
Oh, Brian. Oh, comedy. Oh, that's
Comedy is funny, isn't it? Oh, oh comedy. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, and do you know what I like about comedy? Moaning about the open spots in the back of the car. That's what I like, slagging them off. They deserve it, don't they? Coming along full of confidence and jokes.
Oh, God. Did anything funny happen to you on the way to this studio today?
No, that's never happened to me at all. It has been my dream that one day something funny would happen on the way to a gig. It's just never. No,
usually
plenty of disasters, nothing funny. Yeah. Oh, something fun. There's nothing funny. Funny.
Do you reckon anyone's ever excited to be anywhere?
The thing about it, I'm not sure if you know this, Dickie, but you're getting as bad as Al now. You're joining in. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm joining in with you. No, comedians lie.
What? No.
It's very important.
No.
To remember that. Yes, unlike politicians, comedians lie. You can't trust them. No. Do you want to open the blinds a bit more?
You can open them if you want, but
All right.
it makes me... Does it dull me out a bit? Like, I don't know. Is it...
That's sort of better in a way.
It better? Yeah, all right.
Dramatic.
It is, yeah. It makes
More drama.
more artistic. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's the one and only Mr. Dickie Richards, who also has a mug. And now, here's the one and only Mr. Al Mandolino.
Right, am I coming through?
Oh no, we can't hear anything, Al. We've got no idea whether you're there or not.
I don't know. No, is that a positive then? Have you got? Because I've never done it like this before. No,
I can't hear you, Al. I don't know what you're trying to say. I
I
can't
don't
see
know
you
what
either. Are you there?
I can hear him and see him. He looks fine to me.
Well, it's not at my end then, is it? Yeah.
Al, you're muted. You're muted, Al. You're muted.
But Anthony can hear
Oh,
me.
I can hear him.
He can hear me. Anthony's got it.
Yeah, we're having a fine old
Yeah,
conversation.
we've
The rest
had
of
the
you
will
left
be.
behind.
many a night.
I see your lips moving, but I can't hear what you're saying now.
Don't come on hierarchy with Al and Anthony, yeah. Right. Come on. Have you got me
So,
there? Is there enough bandwidth
I'm
for
trying
me?
to introduce you. You see, you're still fucking talking at the same time as me.
You talk when-
These are professionals. You've just watched them all sit there while I talk bollocks, and then you come out and I have to shout to get me bollocks over.
Right, I'm completely out of my comfort zone here. I'm on a building site in Surrey. Look, that's my home behind us. Behind me, yeah? You see,
Yeah.
in solidarity with our friends in Edinburgh. I'm in accommodation here at work, yes. And it's a tent. Look at my quilt on the tent. This is a building site. I've got this together specially for the show.
Yeah.
It's like Alvida.
I thought that was beans.
No, that's my quilt.
I
That's
just
my
thought
quilt.
you hadn't
That's my
finished your
security
breakfast.
quilt. Yeah.
Right.
So this is the first
So,
time I've done it on the little phone. Yeah. And I'm amazed it works. I thought we were just doing a sound check now. This is live.
Yeah.
This is live.
Yeah, because the
Al.
sound
This is
check,
it.
the sound check was
This is
at
real life.
6, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
At
or
6?
9,
The
and
This is
sound check
happening
was
now.
ages
the
ago.
recording was from 9:30.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
ladies and
I
gentlemen,
thought the sound check was at 9.
shut up, Al, for fuck's sake.
Right,
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the stuff that you will be seeing tonight. There's one more that we are waiting for, who may or may not show up, but then he's got an excuse because he's either in LA or Alaska or somewhere, or on a boat or a plane or whatever. So that's Cole Parker, our man in wherever. So in the meantime, talking of Edinburgh, they're having a festival soon, aren't they? Having a festival in. We've been up there, haven't we? We've been to Edinburgh before.
Lots of times.
Yeah,
We
lots
met
of
there.
It's
It's responsible for this terrible 24 years of
we met there,
Brian and Krysstal.
and we both ruined 2 lives,
Yeah.
and it's been great. It's because the others here will remember me when I was young and enthusiastic and cheerful and
I don't think they knew you then.
happy-go-lucky. They did. They knew me. I was only pretending to be a deadpan comedian. I was pretending to be miserable. But if you spend 20 years pretending to be miserable, I think it sort of rubs off after a while. So what you see now is the product of 20 years of moaning. Anyway, we're going to go to Edinburgh. Spiritually, we're going to Edinburgh, and it'll probably be something like this. So here we are at 5 o'clock. Here we are at 5 o'clock on the 4th of August, on the way to Edinburgh. 5 o'clock in the morning, up waiting for the sun to rise. Me and the woman I love. She's over there. She's on the other side of the camera. She's a wonderful. Mr. and Mrs. Morris Minge went for the month to the Edinburgh Fringe, scribbled and scripted a marvellous show, then off to the land of the Scots they did go. With wit and good humour they duly arrived, to garner attention and praise they contrived. But the menu of choice they had great expectations of laughter in rafters and standing ovations. The Minges were known to be frightfully dense, prepared to perform at terrific expense, paying agents of PR exorbitant rates to find them an audience, not just their mates. There's a chance that the pair might end up in the news if they're lucky enough to get sparkling reviews. In which case they'd be glad as they wandered down leave. They spent all their cash on expensive new teeth. All they needed was access to Radio 4 to gain some attention and open some doors. With a new TV profile, we'll know who they are. It is more important to see these new stars. But now the poor Minges, their money all spent, disappointed to find they were never on trend. And the last train of body was there to be found, but a dirty old man and his mangy old hound. Now Mr. and Mrs. Morris Minge are sad to announce they're renouncing the Fringe. They've decided that life is too short and too sweet to be giving out flyers on Edinburgh streets. Despite all the letdowns and failures and more, they're continuing tempting to conquer the board, with this awful affliction infecting the Minges, completely addicted to doing the Fringes. Oh, that was fantastic, wasn't it? I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. I think that might be one of the technical problems that they've been warning us about. Well, what you saw there's going to be plenty more of that. But in the meantime, over to Mr. Anthony Miller.
Yes, well, I would comment on what you've seen, but I haven't seen it, so I won't. So that was that will have been, to use the pluperfect. Yes, I am the managing director. It's not my childhood dream to do this, by the way. I really wanted to run a network of garden centres, but you know how it is. I didn't have the seed capital. It's funny really because my dad had a hedge fund, but there we go. So there's some puns just to give it the feeling of being a live gig. Because I did actually have quite a rural background. People in the countryside are so negative, aren't they? It's like I saw someone online moaning the other day that if we go over to electric vehicles, he won't be able to run his tractor. I mean, well, yes, you will, and if you can't, you can use horsepower. My great grandfather was he just had horses to do the ploughing. It was slower, but you got there. What you do is you take the watts that the electric engine would use, and you use horsepower, which was invented because he couldn't sell electricity to people who had horses. So what he did was he decided to express electricity in the number of things horses could pull, and he invented horsepower. So you do that and work backwards. You work out how many horses you can use. But his argument was, well, my tractor, I can't get a battery big enough. Well, you could use a wire. There's no problem with running a tractor off a wire. I mean, the reason we don't wire up vehicles is because all the wires will get muddled up going down the road. But actually, the tractor is on its own in the field. As long as you don't plough over your own wire, you could just run it off a wire. And people think this is silly, but I mean, it's just common sense to me. People are so negative. Anyway, that's an introduction of some kind, because that's my little bit about technology. There's so much technology these days. My favourite piece of technology is the NoSQL database. I mean, who thought? I know what we want from a database is no SQL, no commands, no. I mean, it's like I've never before heard of a technology that's based around something not existing. Well, I have, but let's not go into that. Anyway, that's a kind of link, and this is what I shall be doing, is talking bollocks during the acts between them. So can we have some love and appreciation, please, for the next act, who is ELISE Harris.
We were talking very happily and it was going fine. You told me all your interests, I told you some of mine. But then it all got complicated, something had gone wrong, and that's pretty much the focus of this song. I can talk about these things with my mother, I talk about them with my closest friends, but the conversation stalls cause you don't know me at all. I think that this is where the story ends. I'm pretty much unshockable, I thought that you were too, but from the way you looked at me you haven't got a clue. I thought that this was common knowledge, silly me, my bad. I even talk about this with my dad. I'll edit all my emails just to make sure that they're clean. I'll exercise or mention of the thing you don't want seen. But if I can't say anything about my point of view, I think that I will end up feeling sad and feeling blue. I'll never really get over the things that I can't do, and I'll blame you. I can talk about these things with my mother, I talk about them with my closest friends, but the conversation stalls cause you don't know me at all. I think that this is where the story ends. I didn't kill your puppy and I didn't skin your cat. The only thing I ever did was start a simple chat, and although it's entertaining the reaction that I got, if you think that I'd expect it, I'd say not.
Yeah, so that was fantastic from
Ladies and gentlemen, that was ELISE Harris. What a wonderful song that was. we were all dancing here in the studio. And I believe that this is yes, yeah. I think this is just going to carry on in this particular mode for quite a while. And it actually, I think after a song like that, what we need now is some poetry.
Good evening. I'm Sean Patrick. You're you. And welcome to Poetry Nook. Quite often, as practicing poets, we take an old form and try to breathe new life into it. Sometimes the results can be astonishing, giving us a real insight into the poet's heart and mind. Tonight I'd like to share with you 2 pieces I have written around that comfy old favourite, Roses Are Red. Roses are red. Roses are red, violets are blue. You're getting neither. That'll teach you to have an affair. The second one, the same title, slightly longer piece. Roses are red. Roses are red, violets are blue. I am blue, blue and alone. So very, very alone. Christ, will it never end? Join me again next time, but meanwhile, pull up a chair, take down a book, linger a while, and Poetry Nook. Good night.
Well, that was Sean reading his poem, which I can't hear, but you will, in the pluperfect past, and I'm sure it'll be very exciting. Particularly at the end when we all sit around and talk about what has happened during this gig, which we don't really know has happened yet, because it has happened, but it hasn't. Good. So let's talk about something. D-Day, that was great, wasn't it? I liked the D-Day celebrations. I liked Charles. He had this whole row of medals, and they had about 12. They were the Silver Jubilee Medal, the Golden Jubilee Medal, the Platinum Jubilee Medal, the Uranium Jubilee Medal, the Curium Jubilee Medal, and the Nobelium Jubilee Medal, because of course Queen Elizabeth lived so long that they went through the whole of the periodic table. But it just seemed a little crass, you know. I mean, because my grandfather served from 1939 to 1944, all through the Second World War, and I think he got 2 medals. The first one was the Thanks for Turning Up at Dunkirk medal, and the second one was the Thanks for Turning Up at El Alamein medal. Although, to be fair, he might have got more, but he wasn't actually a combat soldier. He wanted to be a combat soldier, you know, he had some kind of death wish. So he went along to the recruitment office and said in 1939, I want to kill Nazis. I want to be on a frontline soldier. I want to kill Nazis. And they looked at him and they said, well, looking at your CV, Mr. Miller, we can see that you drive a laundry truck. Have we got a job for you? You see those bullets over there? We need them to go to France and back. And then we need you to come back again and take some more bullets to France, and some more bullets, and some more bullets. And he was like, but I joined up to fight. If I wanted to drive a van, I could have stayed at the laundry. And they said, look, mate, if you don't drive the van, we've got to teach somebody else double declutching, because synchronized gearboxes haven't been really brought in yet. So, you know, have you tried teaching somebody double declutching? It's really, you know, I mean, there's nothing worse than somebody who can't double declutch properly. It really grinds my gears. And you know what happens when someone grinds my gears? The car breaks down. You know what happens when the car breaks down? We have to get Elizabeth Windsor over here to fix it. And don't get me wrong, she's a lovely princess. She's a lovely princess, but she is shit at fixing motor vehicles. I don't know whose idea it was that a princess could fix cars, but they are shit at it. Right, so that's a link. And now we will have the next act, who is Mr. Aaron BARCHAK.
Oh, the great trumpet! intention here of doing on the Star and Stripes. Oh, you see, Mike, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready. We're getting ready to take back our land. There's going to be a new Exodus. We're going to reenact the Haggadah. That's right. And this is our guide. Can you see? Yes, because, oh, America, you are blind. You have lost your way. You are in a daze. Run by trans progressives and gays and Democrat pedophile Satan worshippers. But here is the rod of dawn. The rod of dawn. You see, take back one Kadan to honor the God of the grand old party, whose ark this is. And the light will shine through, and through dawn's eyes, it will light up on the Capitol, just like in Raiders. And it will shine through from the sun, and you will see it light up. He hath lit up everything. And they are going to sacrifice. They have sacrificed the lamb, the korban, not the corbin. Well, that's fine. They sacrificed the Corbin too, but he deserved it. This son of a bitch. Anyway, we're going to take back. And by the way, you seen the amount of money we're getting in because this is a man of conviction. And also, I want to tell you that you want to send money to me because I also paid off a crackhead hooker on Cricklewood Broadway. Yeah, paid. So you just send money. I paid her off at least 25 of your quid. And we're organizing a training weekend on Gladstone Park. Dollis Hill House will serve as the capital because we need to get in shape after my legs get better. The trumpet has sounded.
Oh, that was Aaron BARCHAK, a.k.a. the comedy terrorist. But it's from a time when being a terrorist was fun. It was comedy, and all you had to do was turn up in a Nazi outfit at a prince's birthday party. I believe, I'm not sure if I got my facts right.
No.
What was it?
No. So that Prince William, or no, the other one.
Right, well that's sorted
he
out.
He dressed up in a Nazi uniform.
Who did?
One of the princes.
Yes, I know.
Yes. So, but then Aaron BARCHAK didn't.
Oh no, he turned up as a comedy terrorist.
He's turned up. He used to.
Yeah, he wanted to go as a Nazi, but they wouldn't
he's
let
Jewish,
him in.
Anyway. But no, he used to turn up as a sort of terrorist, so-called terrorist outfit.
And judging by what you saw, it's affected him greatly. So good luck, Aaron, and I look forward to your next creation. Talking about people who are affected greatly, the Deformed Party have been out campaigning.
Oh, we're not doing a song then?
No, we're not doing a song, not now.
All right, we just picked up your guitar as if we were.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
That's the kind of guy I am. Yeah.
The Reform Party today rebutted accusations that it had fielded any fake ghost candidates in the general election. It is completely false to state that any of our candidates are not real, said their vetting spokesman, Mr. Timothy Claypole. Although we did not have time for administrative reasons to fully biographically detail all our candidates on our website and left a great many blank spaces and missing photographs, it is important to state that all our candidates were real people, like Hubert Davenport and Fred Mumford, and all their candidate papers were signed by well-known business persons in their local area, such as Harold and Ethel Meeker and Adam Painting, he added.
It is true that some candidates were not seen at any hustings. But just because they did not live or campaign locally to their constituencies does not mean they had no connection with those local areas. For example, although she has not been seen in Scotland since before the Civil War, Hazel McWitch still has a very strong affinity with the Glasgow area due to having been burnt to death there. Contrary to the media depiction of Reform as a party dominated by middle-aged white gentlemen, gammons, we also include amongst our number several ethnic minority ladies, such as Nadia Popov, who unfortunately could not canvass during the summer due to suffering from hay fever. Any rumours to the contrary are completely false, and we believe they have been put about by local Conservative activists Rose and Arthur Perkins, against whom we shall soon be instituting legal proceedings. We are consulting our solicitor. What's his name? Smith.
But actually, come back to Aaron Barchak. They actually changed the law due to Aaron Barchak. He's one of the few people in the world who you can directly see his effect on legislation. So if you walk past Buckingham Palace now, there's a sign that says, under the Terrorism Act, trespass here is a criminal offence. And when he jumped over the fence and went to Prince William's birthday party, it wasn't a criminal offence. A select committee sat down afterwards and said, well, what went wrong? I know, it was not a criminal offence, and we couldn't send this chap Barchak to prison. So, you know, they changed the law specifically for him, which is nice. Well, that's a kind of link, isn't it? So I think we'll move on to the next act, who is Krysstal.
Krysstal here. Brian's asked me to do like a vlog for him, but I can't. I'm a very busy woman. I'm very, very busy. He doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, I'm doing a hands-off massage course. Well, I've nearly finished it, actually. Yeah, it's very good. It's environmentally and pandemic friendly. And you kind of like do it via Zoom, and you just tell people like, just give it a bit of a rub, or like get a tennis ball and, you know, move your back up and down against the wall or something like that. But there's a lot involved. Like it's got anatomy and physiology and all this stuff I don't really understand, but you know, I'm getting through it. Like I'm very busy, very busy. Then I'm doing like I'm doing like a carer's course, because you know, Brian's getting a bit worse, and it's more like how to fake caring, how to pretend how to care. Yeah, so I'm doing that. I'm learning Australian, because you know we're in Australia, and oh my god, it's difficult. I mean, they have all these words, like they've got this word, right, stubby, or stubbies, right, and stubby is like a little bottle like that, usually a beer, and they've got like a stubby holder. Oh, that's fine. But then it means shorts, stubby shorts. I mean, what the heck? I don't know. They have all these words for things. They have to say, like, if they're thirsty, they say, oh, I'm as dry as a dead dingo's donger. How are you supposed to learn how to get around that? Oh, I don't know. What else am I doing? Oh, yeah, I'm doing, like, a course that helps you manage your courses. Yeah, I'm really busy with that. It's so difficult, and it, like, takes up so much time. I mean, my God. But it is useful because, you know, it helps you kind of, like, get all your courses in order and what to do next and everything like that. And yeah, because we're in Australia again, and it's like winter and we're in like the mountains, and so it's cold, it's flipping cold. So we've got this wood stove burner thing, and I have to learn to be a lumberjack. I've got to go out and get wood all the time. I mean, how does he think that I'm going to have the time to make a vlog? I haven't even got time to finish doing my hair. Brian, I don't have time.
Well, that was Krysstal. And,
being busy. Very busy.
She is very busy. She's a very, very busy woman. Very, very. And that face didn't make itself, you know. She's had a little bit of work done here and there and everywhere else, and it sort of it's worked, hasn't it?
Is it?
Tap my phone.
No, because it'll come through.
Oh, okay then. All right. So yeah, no, she's had a bit of work done. So we've got a little song for her.
says she's 29, but she's been a very good friend of mine for over 40 years. Her husband dyes his hair jet black, although his back and sack and crack are at least 50 shades of grey. He can no longer use his eyes to demonstrate remote surprise or even vague recognition. Injected poisons can't be wise, but he believes those surgeons' lies all of his own volition. So do us all a favour and leave yourself alone. You've had so many nips and tucks, there's nothing that's your own. How do I recognise you when I meet you in the street? And you're wearing someone else's face and you've even got new feet. Young Helen's brand new plastic started leaking just a bit, and the poor girl is looking so deflated. But we've had a whip round down the pub to get the buggers pumped back up, and when it's done, the lads will be elated. So why not try to age with style? You're only here for a little while. Don't you think it's a good idea to enjoy it? You won't be coming back again, so while you're at it, take that brain and every now and then just employ it. So do us all a favour and leave yourself alone. You've had so many nips and tucks, there's nothing that's your own. How do I recognise you when I meet you in the street? And you're wearing someone else's face and you've even got new feet. And you're wearing someone else's face and you've even got new feet.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the section called Watching Paint Dry with Al Mandolino.
Happy Hogmanay to the rest of the staff at Pear Shaped in Dystopia. From Henry, Vinny, whoa, and myself. Yes, let's go, boys.
Well, that was Al, and we will see what he was laughing at later. The thing is, usually I use the gaps that are 5 minutes to think about what I'm going to say, but because we don't actually have them, I'm just sort of filling in. So let's do something like, I don't know, mint imperials. Why are they sold in metric quantities? Because, I mean, that seems to me to not really be a Brexit benefit, is it? You know, if any Brexit should have achieved anything, you should be able to get 0.5 kilogram of mint imperials. Yeah. Or 0.5 pound of mint imperials rather than a kilogram. Anyway, so that's a joke. There's so many weird things in the world. Puberty blockers are big news at the moment. The ban on puberty blockers, and that's a weird one. I'd have had puberty blockers if I could have, to be honest. I just feel, you know, because I remember like my voice breaking and being thrown out the choir, and I feel that was a career that was stolen from me that I could have had back with puberty blockers. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this now. I would be a professional singer if I had had puberty blockers. I don't know. It's a weird one, that. Let's not go there because it's too controversial. Yes. Just a tip, though, talking about being very young. If you want to avoid the torrent of porn on Twitter, you can set your age at 14, and then Elon won't bombard you with pornography because he's scared of the police knocking round. Anyway, that's a link of a kind. So I think, looking at the list, the next act is...
Hello, Dickie Richards here. Now, I've just spent a weekend in the north of England staying with a friend of mine. He's done very well for himself. He was born into a poor family and brought up in a very poor area, but he's, you know, he's fought his way up and he's done very well for himself. But he still keeps in touch with his background, you know. So for breakfast we had kippers à l'orange. For lunch we had Welk's Thermidor, and for dinner we had chips Benedict.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are honoured to introduce to you Mr. Cole Parker, our man in LA.
Hello! So, I'm doing my report again from Los Angeles. We are sliding towards fucking civil war. Did anyone see that the orange rapist nearly got shot the other day, which what I believe to be a fake assassination attempt? I don't even think it was fucking real. I think it's going to come out that it wasn't real. And anyone that says anything about it gets cancelled. Yeah, you don't want to say anything about a rapist being shot. We must protect all the rapists, mustn't we? Keep them fucking safe. Hey, cunts. Anyway, so I'm still here. I'm in the States. COVID numbers are rising, which is a fuck up for me because I work on cruise ships. I do stand up on cruise ships, and it was difficult last cruise because we had to wear masks again. They made us wear fucking masks, and I was up on the restaurant deck, and they were serving Indian food. And you know, being British, I love Indian food. India is one of the many countries that my country is fucked over, and now I love the cuisine. I had 2 strong, powerful plates of chicken vindaloo. Then I stood up, I put my mask on because you know I'm crew. I had to. I walked to the elevator, as they say here in America, the lift. And when I got there, I burped inside my mask. Yeah, I nearly fucking passed out. And they're making everyone get the vaccine again. Fucking vaccine again. Friend of mine, she wouldn't get the vaccine the first time around. Split the country down the middle. Friend of mine, she said, I don't want to put anything bad inside my body. Could be bad for my body. Well, nothing bad inside my body. As she was saying this, I was thinking, you fuck strangers that you meet online, don't you? Yeah. You eat Taco Bell. Taco Bell, by the way, I don't know if it's reached UK shores yet, but it's incredible. Somebody worked out if you had cilantro to cat food, people will fucking buy it. It's amazing. So I live in Pasadena, which is okay. When I first moved into the apartment I'm living in now, we drove into the street. There was a sign in the street. It said, drive like your kids live here. So I put my foot down and got the fuck out. But I came back. It's all right. It's all right, Pasadena. They're making an effort. You know, they've got an English pub called Lucky Baldwin's. It's just like an English pub. They've nailed it, you know. The food's terrible. All the waitresses look like my dad. No one tips. I live in the Mexican part of Pasadena for 2 reasons. 1, it's the only part I can afford. And 2, being working class, I feel a kinship with other working class people. And I get on very well with my neighbours. Sometimes I've babysat their kids when I've gone to work. They've looked after my cats when I've been out. And they get on very well, which is why I was somewhat angered when an orange rapist described Mexicans as terrorists. Now, Mexicans, they are maybe many, many things, but they are not terrorists. You'd never get a Mexican suicide bomber, for example. This is a community that eats so much meat and beans and cheese. If one of them was to blow themselves up at a border, a protest, yeah, it would make one fuck of a mess, but wow. It would smell amazing, wouldn't it? Oh, what's that? Yum, yum, yum. I want one. My cat walked past me the other day. And as it did, it looked at me. And I looked at him. And as he looked at me, I went, meowed at my cat. And it was interesting because he gave me the exact same look that I give people when they're trying to do my accent to me. That kind of fucking twat sort of look, you know what I mean? My daughter is 23 years old. She hasn't spoken to me since November, which is a fucking result because I'm not going to lend her any money. But she's wonderful, George. She is wonderful. I raised her as a single parent, and I think when you're a single parent, I don't think you can have a stronger bond with anyone than your child. And Georgia and I, we are very, very close, and so we tell each other all our secrets. But there is a problem. You see, last summer, Georgia told me a secret that's so good, I have to use it for material. But it is a secret, so Georgia confided in me last year that whilst on a date with a young gentleman, a gentleman she quite liked, the first date she had with this guy, Georgia told me that she shat herself. Yeah. Shat herself. Now, It took her a few minutes to tell me this. Her knuckles turned white as she was gripping the chair, and I could see a fine tear escape her eye and run down her porcelain cheekbone as she looked to me, her only parent, for love, empathy and understanding. But there was none. All I could do was think, you shut yourself on a date! Wow! How does that even work? What happens when you shit yourself when you're wearing a thong? Is it cut in half quickly like a log in a sawmill? Or is it slow and steady like cheese wire being drawn through dense cheddar? Or does it spiral out like the Play-Doh barber shop? I just want to know. I'm curious. Who wouldn't want to know that? Genius at embarrassing me, George. You've always been an absolute genius. She was the kid I took her to school, did the school run. I'd drop her at school, say, bye darling, have a lovely day. I'd walk away and she'd say, Dad, you forgot to give me a kiss. I went, oh, my heart melted in my chest as I leant down to kiss my daughter's face. She jumped back and then shouted out for everyone else's benefit, oh, not on the lips, Dad. Remember what the policeman told you? Little fucker. I was impressed. Like, well done, you little cunt. So, being 50 years old, I received a letter in the mail today from the Comedy Guild saying they're annoyed that I haven't done any long testicle material yet, which I'm required to do when you hit 50. So, yeah, all right, they are massive, it is true, it's a stereotype, and it's hacky as fuck, but they do get fucking massive, and they barely work. My balls are so big, I need a fucking papoose, but they barely work. My balls are like an old man in a run-down biscuit factory up north that's only got one client that buys anymore. I've got to call him up 5 days in advance if I want to have an erection. An erection? Right here, son, on my way. And the old man will walk over to the machine, he'll put 50 pence in and start turning the handle, cranking up the cock, you know, slowly getting it there for a, not quite an erection, but just enough to do the job very quickly. My balls are fucking huge, mate. They are so big. Like, it's ridiculous now. I resent the fact that they barely work. Like, you'd think being bigger, they pack more of a punch, but no, they're just, like, as a younger man, I had balls like a proud golf ball. I could shoot webs like Spider-Man. I could throw them everywhere. I could pin criminals to walls. These days, I barely need a tissue. It's like the last squeeze of the toothpaste, just done. Having sex with my wife, she said, did you come? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm hungry, so probably. Sat on one last week. Sat on one of my own balls, yeah. Felt like a winner that day. I was coming out of Ralph's. That's the store, not the guy. No, I put my groceries in the back seat of the car. I got in the front. Now, I drive a 2007 Toyota Solara because my career's on fire. And so I put my groceries in the back. I got in the front. Now it's got a bucket seat, so I've got to sit quite far back, right? And as I sat down, Lefty just snuck out from underneath my cargo shorts and got suctioned onto the molten hot leather seat that had been baking in the Californian sun for an hour while I was shopping for groceries. And I sat down with the full weight of my body on my own gland, and I was impressed. Yeah, I had no idea that something could hurt that bad, he could still be alive. I didn't know that. But I'm in a bucket seat. I've got to lean forward to get up. I've got to put more weight on my own testicle to get off the fucking thing. And I was like a failed weightlifter. I could do the jerk, but I couldn't complete the lift. And after several attempts, right, and I can't get the window down because it's an old shit car and the window doesn't fucking work, I realised what's going to happen. I'm going to die. This is how people die. They get trapped in cars in Southern California. It happens all the time. And like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that in their death certificate. Trapped underneath one of their own fucking testicles. I have to read that out of the will. Anyway, Megan, my wife, she saved my life. She opened up the passenger door, she got in and the cold air came in. And at this point, I was doing what any man would be doing. Crying, yeah. Big wet tears rolling down my face. Megan gets in, she starts rubbing my back. And the last conversation Megan and I had as we were shopping was about her mother's health issues. And then she finds me weeping alone in the car. She's like, my mum's going to be okay. No offence, but I couldn't give a fuck about your mum right now. Sorry, I'll get off the subject. I'm milking it. I'm milking my balls is what I'm doing right now. Oh no, hey, yeah.
Mr. Cole Parker, our man in LA. Luckily, we have ELISE Harris.
Hello. I was just thinking about goats, Brian and Krysstal. Do you know all about goats? You're goats. It's not an insult. It's the greatest of all time, as the Gen Z say. The young people, the beautiful young people. So, young people. And there's an awful lot of goats. You have to pick which goat you're going to be, don't you? Which goat you're going to be. Are you going to be a tethered goat, where you're just there to get all the bad people to come and cluster around you, and then you might get eaten? Not so good a goat, really. And also there's a Judas goat, which is a bit controversial, biblical goat, and probably you don't want that. Whereas you're the bad goat, and you're leading all the other people into the doom, as I mentioned before, into the doom. And if you're that sort of goat, you're not a greatest of all time, I don't think, but there's a lot of them about. But the trouble with goats really is you start thinking about, I don't know, about 20 years ago, if you're on the early days of the internet, people used to send GOATSE, a goatsy, and you'd click on it, all like sort of like, oh, I wonder what this amazing thing is, and then you'd get the shock of your life, and you'd be like, and you'd never get over it. So I don't know whether, I'm still not really over it, really. But it's the same as when me and my brother were at my parents' house, and they'd left us, they'd gone somewhere, and we looked under their bed because we knew there was some videos, VHS tapes under their bed. And we found something called Debbie Does Dallas. And we found it, and we put it on in our lunchtime. We were going back to school. It was that we came home for lunch, and for some reason they weren't there. And my brother put it on, and we were quite young, and we watched it with growing horror. And I don't think that I'll ever be able to eat lollipops ever again, really. It was scary. Anyway, yes, I think yeah. Goats.
ELISE Harris with goats. Yes, that was ELISE with goats. I don't have any goats material, but I was behind a bus the other day, and on the back of it, it was advertising halal milk, which got me thinking, is there any milk in the world that is not halal? Because, I'm not terribly au fait with all the rules of Islam, but I'm pretty sure that if you create milk that is not halal, you're doing dairy farming wrong. Because after you milk the cows at the end, or the goats, at the end, they are supposed to still be alive. So it seemed to me that something's majorly disastrous in the world of farming, or someone's just taken advertising too far there. I'm all for advertising, but go for your market, whatever that is. But you don't want to be scaring people to death that they're drinking a glass of milk from a cow that's been murdered. I mean, it's bad enough that we murder all the baby cows so that all the grown-ups can have milk. Because obviously cows wouldn't milk all the time unless you kept them constantly pregnant. So that, if you're a cow, it's just one baby after another. Your life is a series of pregnancies, which is very, very tiring. I mean, you'd think they could give them some hormone replacement therapy, wouldn't you? So that they didn't have to be permanently pregnant. They could just stuff them with the hormones to make the milk. But apparently that's not allowed. So the poor cows have to have one in the oven all the time, which is serious, isn't it? Because we can give humans hormones to change their sexuality, so why can't, or whatever. So why not cows? Anyway, that's a talk on cows and milk and sex, which is probably what we were looking for at that point. And so now a serious issue, the general election, and we have been watching the play out of democracy, which is a very vital thing in British society. So here is some observation of the general election.
I know it's a tough action, right? But I think that you just got to think about Plymouth, right? What's best for Plymouth?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was campaigning with Johnny, and I'm sure we're all more than inspired by the zeal at which Tories lose elections. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only CHARMIAN HUGHES.
Good evening, Australia. Now, my mother used to say to me, Charmian, you are very quarrelsome. Me, quarrelsome. She said you would argue with St. Peter at the gate. Do you know that expression? It's like Heaven's Gate. St. Peter has the keys. He works out who comes in, who goes out. You don't want to get into an argument. So that's what my mother says. She says, you would argue with St. Peter at the gate. And I say, it's not a gate. It's a door. Because if it was a gate, people could climb over it. So what would be the point of behaving in your life or trying to be good? Because you could be a bad person, go to hell, just come and climb over the gate. So obviously it's a door. That's what I said to her. And she said I was very quarrelsome. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk to you about, Australia. I want to talk to you about the election that we have just had. This is my dog, Rudolph. Have I told you about Rudolph? Oh my God, he replaces Frankie, who died last October, and Frankie was so popular that everybody said, what does Frankie want for Christmas? And I used to say money. But he's dead, and now we've got Rudolph. And Rudolph, as you can see, is a Labrador. They need lots of stimulation. And, you know, we think we're a nation of animal lovers. But, you know, poor Rudolph, in the home he had before, he had to live in the countryside where there's fuck all to do. But now he lives in Peckham in South London, where we have cafes, we have cinemas, we have theatre, and we have original features. So it all worked out quite well. Anyway, the election, everyone. I am very satisfied that we now in the UK have a Labour government. But a lot of my friends, they're like, oh God, you know, it was better in the old days. It was better in the old days. And I go, there's nothing good about the good old days. And they go, no, the good old days, you know, like 1969, before the Beatles split up, when we had proper music and a proper Labour government. Now, I was alive in 1969, and I say, those good old days, the people of 1969, they wanted to get back to the good old days of the war, you know, when we had sing-alongs and bombs. But the people of the war, they wanted to get back to the good old days of Queen Victoria, when we had an empire and no sex. But the people of Queen Victoria, they wanted to get back to the Enlightenment. You know, the 18th century, where women almost had liberation. And Mary Wollstonecraft wrote A Vindication on the Rights of Women. But the people of the Vindication of the Rights of Women days, they wanted to get back to Henry VIII. Those good old days when he knew how to treat women. And then the people of Henry VIII, they want to go back to Anglo-Saxon times, where we had cross-lace boots and allotments. But the Anglo-Saxons, they didn't think they were in the good old days. They want to get back to the good old days when we were cavemen, before language, when life became so emotionally complicated. But cavemen, they wanted to go back to the good old days when we were fish, when everything was so simple. But the fish, well, you know, they've got no memory. So they don't remember the good old days, and they are the only creatures on earth that are content. So that's my thoughts on the election. And I think that's all I've got to say to you, Australia. You know, a fistful of Brian Dabbage. Mwah!
That was CHARMIAN HUGHES, who was hilarious as ever. Yes, good. So, what should we do? Let's just put the next act on. I think we've had quite enough for me. So can we have some love and appreciation for the next act, who I believe is Mr. Sean Patrick again with his Poetry Nooks.
Good evening. I'm Sean Patrick. You're you. Welcome to Poetry Nook. For so long, nature And the seasons have provided a rich source of inspiration to poets. And quite often we tend to focus on man's fraught relationship with them. I'd like to share with you tonight a poem I've written called Ode to a Wasp on a Summer's Day. Ode to a Wasp on a Summer's Day. Oh, wasp! Fuck off! I look forward to seeing you again next time. But in the meantime, pull up a chair, take down a book, and linger a while in Poetry Nook. Good night.
Right.
Well,
Bit of poetry.
I like a bit of poetry. It's nice, isn't it? I like poetry. I like poetry. Do you like poems?
Oh yeah, I love poems.
I like poems. Odes.
Odes.
Especially odes.
When I first went to Edinburgh, I did some poems in my
You did some
show.
odes, didn't you?
I did some
odes. Yeah, that was what attracted me to you. I thought,
And we had said I recited one at our wedding.
Well, you could recite it now for the delight of
I can't remember that
everybody. Well, I've got one.
Yeah.
You probably won't believe this, but it's absolutely true. I'm a fucking poet. Ooby dooby doo.
Great.
Anyone can do it if you've got the time to spare. All you need is a pen and pad and a little bit up there. Find yourself a dictionary, loads of words and that. Pick them out, pull them out, stick them in a hat. Then you pull them out again and organise the bastards, and if you don't do it properly, it'll be all over the fucking place and it won't scan at all. Will it?
No.
There we go.
That's modern poetry for you, isn't it?
That's modern poetry, yeah. So that was nice. So the next act, oddly enough, is ELISE HARRIS talking about artifacts, whatever they are.
Just had a salesman in my shop, and he was selling stuff, because that's what salesmen do. And he said to me, "We got some specials on." I was like, "Really? What is it?" I mean, we usually sell fruit and vegetables, but he said he had something much better than fruit and vegetables for me. I said, "What is it?" He said, "It's Jesus's wee." I was amazed, shocked and amazed. And I said, "Oh, we'll have some of that." So I had some of that. So he sold it to me. "Look, Jesus's wee. It's he said it's quite old. It's not very much of it because it's evaporated because it's so old. It smells fruity, like holy wee. This is holy wee." He was selling his toenails as well, but I didn't really want his toenails. Anyway, I don't know what to do with it really. I'm thinking maybe have a shrine in my shop. Then I might put off the people. They might not buy any of the fruit and vegetables. And I need to sell the fruit and vegetables. What I do think though, because this man, he was glowing, like he was holy himself. So he was probably holy. In fact, I'm thinking he might have actually been Jesus, or sort of imbibed by the holiness of Jesus. So I don't know what to do really. But so I don't know what to do with this wee really, but oh, that's made me feel really holy. I should probably save the rest of that. Really.
ELISE HARRIS with the urea of Christ. It's going all right now, isn't it? Yeah, I feel we can see the videos now. We're back on track. We're getting a bit like, we've done so much. This is going to be so artificially created that it's going to end up like the re-election campaign. I don't know. The thing about the election campaign is none of them seem to meet real people, apart from Johnny Mercer. I mean, it was just so staged. I mean, the worst thing about the general election campaign is that Rishi and Starmer just keep appearing in factories and workplaces because the audience there is trapped. You know, they can't say what they really think. If you met them in a shopping centre, you could tell them what you really thought of them, but they don't want that. So what they do is they decide to meet people in a workplace. I mean, it's terrible. It's getting so you can't put on your high vis anymore in case Boris or Rishi pop out of a fridge and start making a speech. They're everywhere. You know, yeah. Anyway, that's my link to the next act, Dickie Richards, who hopefully we can see.
Hello, it's me again. I'm doing this bit live. It's incredible, isn't it? It's live now. Yeah, I wonder. What's his name? Brian. That was it. Brian earlier was talking about terrorists, and yeah, I went out with a girl once who was a suicide bomber. No, I disagreed with her fundamentally on almost everything. And one day we had a big argument, and she just went off in a huff. Yeah, and I'll tell you another joke about terrorists. Two suicide bombers walk into a bar. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I think you mentioned, did someone mention ADHD earlier as well? Something like that. I can't remember if they did. But I met someone the other day who had the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity. I mean, people with ADHD are bad enough because they always tell you that they've got ADHD, but there's other categories of people that tell you that they've got stuff. And so I met someone who had ADHD, was a vegan, and had also given up alcohol. Crikey, that was a conversation. But I suffer from that thing. I suffer from that thing where everyone feels sorry for me. Yeah, I've got AHHH. Thank you very much. That's the end of this short piece from me. Hopefully we'll come back to the studio now.
On the last episode, Mr. Mark Ward told a fascinating story about two tramps.
So these two tramps walking down the street, and it's a hot day, a really hot day. And one of the tramps turns to the other tramp and goes, "Have you shit yourself?" And the tramp goes, "No."
And it was such a great success that he sent us a variation on the originals.
So these two different tramps walking down a different street, but on a hot day, a very hot day. And the first tramp says to the second tramp, "Have you shit yourself?" And the second tramp goes, "No." The first tramp goes, "Well, okay then." So they carry on walking down the street, and the smell of shit gets stronger. And the first tramp goes, "Are you sure you haven't shit yourself?" And the second tramp goes, "No, I haven't." The first tramp goes, "Okay then." So anyway, it gets hotter and hotter, and the smell of shit gets stronger and stronger. So in the end, the first tramp's had enough and says, "I'm sure you've shit yourself. Take down your trousers." So the second tramp takes down his trousers, and sure enough, there's a big pile of shit in the seat of the trousers. And the first tramp goes, "See? You have shit yourself, haven't you?" And the second tramp goes, "Oh no, that was in there when I got them."
Well, that was what a marvellous show. I must say, I really enjoyed it. I thought everybody was absolutely hilarious.
Well, I can see you enjoyed something, yes.
In fact, I'm so happy that I would actually like to pay something.
Yes,
but I don't know. I don't know where to start, actually. Normally, I have a little man who deals with the money for me. But he got in a fit of laughing, and he seems to have disappeared somewhere.
I know how to do it.
So, how do I pay?
Scan the QR code or follow the link.
Well, that was pear-shaped in Dystopia. Wednesday night at 8:30. Once a month, pear-shaped, and we hope y'all thought the show was really great. Last Wednesday of the month, pear-shaped. If the comics made you grin, feel free to chuck a fiver in the bin.
Or 10 or more.
Pear-shaped in Dystopia. Wednesday night at 8:30. When does it run?
Oh my goodness, it's just
Wednesday night at 8:30.
There you are.
Is it next week?
No, end of the month, dear, end of the month.
Next month, the end of the month.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Well, I should be here, so
Yes,
thank
you
you
will.
for everything.
It's all right.
And I'm just trying to figure out how to pay.
Well, you've
That's
been
all.
told, dear, if you haven't worked
Thank
out
you.
by now.
Oh,
Wow.
oh.
Oh, where's Dickie gone?
I don't know.
He's hiding under the bed. Oh, it's the big lump. Oh my goodness, is he in bed?
Is it going back to bed? He's having a power nap. Now he's back. Now he's back.
Well,
Bloody hell.
Who is in
That's
the
not
bed?
you under the bed.
No, that's all my Edinburgh stuff. Waiting to be packed up and done. So I just covered it up so no one would notice there was a mess.
Discreet.
All right.
Mess. I'll show you a mess where I am.
I was holding that up. But I don't think you could see it.
I was going like this.
Yeah, I noticed it there. But I was being professional and just doing it into the camera, so I didn't see anybody.
It's not your fault, but maybe there's somewhere we could flash or something.
Yeah.
Make some sort of flash or a beat.
I think there is. We could have a one of these that just says muted.
That's right. I was doing that, but you couldn't see it.
Oh,
Doing that.
It would be like Britain's Got Talent. We could all score, couldn't we?
Yeah.
You know, like hold a number up. You know.
I wasn't looking at the screen, I was looking into the camera.
I think we'll have to have a special code.
Just
So,
give us all a buzzer, you know, then we can just buzz you in.
And put an electrode on yourself somewhere, and we can press the F1 key in that. Hey?
At this stage, normally I would be doing the roll call, but to be honest, I'm quite exhausted. Now in the green room, and the theme for that is, so what the fuck happened there then?
Well,
It was
That's
made
what
a
that's
text.
about.
quite a lot of it didn't happen.
Yeah.
What we could.
That was weird though, that one clip of Elise's suddenly played.
Yeah.
And then nothing else played.
Well, do you know why? Because it was divine intervention.
Yeah, exactly.
Divine intervention.
Yeah.
Jesus had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes, well, exactly.
So,
Jesus wanted to have his spot in the
Hang on,
spotlight.
I've got there was something that I was really looking forward to trying out, and I just want to see if it was going to work. Hang on now.
One day as I was strolling around our little town, I saw a sweet young lady skipping up and down. I smiled at her, tipped my hat and went upon my way. To my surprise, she rolled her eyes and she began to say,
"Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! How dare you try and stop me when I'm walking out in front? You've got the smile of a paedophile, that's why I'm being blunt. Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt!"
Now, as you can imagine, I was in a state of shock. I let her know just how I felt with one of my dirty looks. She paused for just a moment, realizing what she'd done. Then she reached inside a bag of sweets and pulled out a fucking gun. She said,
"Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! How dare you try and stop me when I'm walking out in front? You've got the smile of a paedophile, that's why I'm being blunt. Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt!"
I thought I've had
this, I'm sorry I came out. I blame social media. There's a lot of it about. I'm heading back to my loving wife, and I never more shall roam from the comfort of a roaring fire and the warmth of home sweet home. She stood there in the doorway, smile upon her face. She said, I've been getting ready. I've packed your fucking case. I know it's a shop, but I've changed the lock, so I don't know where you'll stay. But I wish you luck, you useless fuck, and all I've got to say is...
Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! How dare you try and stop me when I'm walking out in front? You've got the smile of a paedophile, that's why I'm being blunt. Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! How dare you try and stop me when I'm walking out in front? You've got the smile of a paedophile, that's why I'm being blunt. Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt! Oh, you motherfucking bastard! You motherfucking bastard cunt!
We couldn't hear that at all. And the gist of that is that if that did actually work, I could mime to it, you see, and the chorus, oh, you motherfucking bastard. But, no, I don't know.
This whole thing has gone.
You just pretend everything went well, and nobody would know, and it would be seamless.
Yeah. It's reminiscent of the very first one we tried to do. We spent all bloody day doing tests, and everything was working. And then everything crashed on the first, but that was going out like live streaming.
That was embarrassing.
That was awful.
And we, because I gave the link, put it out publicly. The guest room was full of audience.
Yeah.
We couldn't get in.
So
We couldn't get into our own show.
That was a disaster. But today he spent hours doing tests and loading up the videos and checking them and all that stuff. And then suddenly when we'd go to do the proper recording, nothing is playing.
It's a good job you gave yourself 2 weeks to edit it.
Everyone thinks that was deliberate. If it's completely shambolic, they will go, well, that's obviously what they were trying. That's what it was supposed to be like.
I'm sure I got told that the sound check was at 9:30 and the gig was actually at 10 o'clock. At the end. Or maybe did someone spike me and do that on purpose? Just so I'd be...
No. Gaslighting you.
No, it doesn't say. It just says...
It's always 9:30.
Oh no, it says 9:30 sound and vision check up to 30 minutes. 10 a.m. show starts.
Yes.
11 a.m. show ends.
See?
So yeah, I've got the.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
So, no, well,
never mind.
the words are there, Brian.
I'm going to go absolutely apoplectic now because I'm
but that wasn't given to
Al. Getting it right. What?
That wasn't what was given to Al.
I was shouting. Excuse me.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been set up. I've been set up. I'm on a fucking building site in Surrey here. Look, I'm living in a fucking tent, and you tell me it's half an hour, and I missed the fucking sound check, and I had to go to Argos and get an adapter for the headphones.
But
I've been set up.
But the first half an hour was the best bit of the whole thing.
I missed it.
I know. That's why it was the best bit of the whole thing. It was deliberate. It was. I thought this will sort out. Stop him fucking interrupting.
No, it's all wrong footed. Is this deliberate? Are some people in on the jokes?
Yes.
Are some people
all
not?
gonna be
Oh,
9:30.
wow, it's so clever that they've done this. So clever.
I've been
I
gaslit.
reckon this will get a BAFTA.
I might put a little thing together at the end of it saying, do you want to run your own professional podcasts? And we
Do the opposite.
Yeah, we've got a little course. It's only $75 a month.
All right.
Could it be that you're in Australia?
Just sort of.
There's a lag.
A lag, yeah.
Yeah. That's what
There's an old lag. There's an old lag on the screen.
I'd like to say something extending on the theme of goats. that up north, where I come from, we have a phrase that was called "You are acting the giddy goat."
The giddy goat, yes.
Do we know about that?
We do know about that. Giddy goats. I forgot
giddy
about
goat.
the giddy goats.
The giddy goat. Is anyone going to run with that?
I think anybody who was human might have heard of it.
Trotty run with it right into the.
Run with it? What, you mean write a show around it?
Yeah, a whole show about goats.
My dad was quite sort of stern, and at the dinner table we used to get the giggles, and he used to send us out one by one. But then we'd all come back in and we'd all be calm, and then he'd say, "Have you stopped being so giddy?" The word giddy used to just set us all off again. So we just spent most of the dinner time trooping in and out of the fucking dining room. We had to be composed to eat our meal for some reason. I don't know. That is the giddy that I associate with my youth.
But you had Jesus then, and then
yeah.
So, but Jesus' urine you had, and then we know we're talking about goats. Isn't there some connection? Isn't there like some anti-Christ thing with goats?
Yes, the Judas goats. Yeah, the sort of
the goat of Mendes or something. Is that right? Yeah. So is that
well, maybe that's what it's called. There's a whole goats. There's a lot of goats around. Yeah. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
I quite like this show. It's going very occult, isn't it? It's going very occult. Now.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Alistair Crowley with the whole horned goat. Of course, that's not the devil. It's an ancient pagan goat. Goats.
Yeah. I quite like it. So I'll be keen to find out what sort of side we're all on. Whether we're on the on the Jesus side, or whether we're on the
not the Jesus side. Yeah.
on the goat side. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, really.
I'm more like to be
agnostic about goats, really.
Goats. Well, I quite like the goat side because there's more like naked dancing around fires and stuff like that. Orgies. There's more orgies, isn't there, on the goat side? Frowned upon, Jesus. They frowned upon that.
Yeah. It's just a whole series of Goatbuster films that could be made with the whole thing, and it would be
Goatbusters. I like that. Who are you going to call?
Goatbusters.
It reminded me a bit of Blackadder with the fingers of Christ. Where he has the relics.
The relics. Are they the true relics?
He has Baldric. I think Percy has a finger of Christ, and Baldric says they only came in packs of 10.
It's just being co-opted.
I think there's still places you can go and see the shriveled up relics. I mean, Jesus must have been a giant. All these saints must have had just tendrils and tentacles. They're like Hindu goddesses or something. Bits, body parts coming out of everywhere. There's too many bits.
Remember Australian Jimbo, who spent a good couple of years or more travelling around Australia with a goat, and he had part of his act was his urine therapy.
That was Gary the goat. I think Gary was a Catholic. He used to go to church every Sunday. That's where Jimbo got his audience.
Jimbo got into trouble with the authorities in Australia because of the urine therapy for films of it or something. I think that they were always trying to ban him, weren't they? Because he was pushing the boundaries of comedy.
Yes, Sarah Miles used to drink it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Jimbo's well. I haven't heard from him for a while.
I spoke to him not long ago. I spoke to him. He's fine. He's good, but he's a father. He's a father now. He's got a
devoted father. I last heard as well.
So he can't. But he's not a youth anymore. That's the trouble when we came back to Australia. Was all the people that we knew have all grown up.
But you haven't.
They're all divorced or whatever. I know.
No, he hasn't. No.
It's a lonely life.
I remember like putting Jimbo on, like UK Jimbo, and we did the whole pear shape, and at the end of it, this man turned up to me and said, "That's not Jimbo." And I said, and he was looking for the Australian Jimbo. And I said, but his name is Jimbo. And he said, yeah, but it's not the Jimbo. And he said, you realise this is a fraud. You know, you realise this is bait and switch marketing. That you brought. I said, but it's not my fault that there are two Jimbos on other sides of the planet. And, you know, probably if you wanted to see the Australian Jimbo, you know, the other side of the planet would have been the place to start. And he said, well, how do I know Jimbo's not on tour? And we just had this conversation, went on and on. Eventually gave up because there was nowhere to go with it. You know, he wasn't going to turn. But the other thing was, instead of turning up the show, he was waiting all the time through the show for Jimbo to turn up. And at the end, when I did the roll call, that's when he realised that Jimbo, was that the old man he'd been looking at was actually the Jimbo on the bill. He'd been waiting for Jimbo to come and turn up and headline. I
bet he's in a pub somewhere. Like he keeps going on about it, and I went wrong in Jimbo.
But it was weird, wasn't it? Because when Jimbo decided he wanted to stop for a bit, then the other Jimbo turned up, and then when the other Jimbo went back to Australia, Jimbo.
There can only be one Jimbo at a time.
Yeah,
maybe
he used to do all that. He used to do all that sleeping rough stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
That story used to tell this story about like he was sleeping somewhere and there were these two beggars, and what they would do is they would go and beg at the top spots in shifts, and they'd have arguments like open spots about when they could beg. So I'm taking 10 a.m. to 11. You can have the 11 to 12 slot. And one of them's like, well, why can't I have the 11 to 12 slot? Why has he got it? And the other one goes, well, because you're a shit beggar. You know, you got to work your way up the circuit, mate.
I remember Jimbo telling me two girls had taken a shine to him and took him back to some posh flat in Kensington, and then their flatmate turned up and really freaked out that they'd brought this homeless guy back. He said, I can understand, but can I just take a shower before I go?
The thing was, he couldn't get his head around the idea that you should always have somewhere to sleep. So I used to think it's freezing cold, sub-zero, and you're going to walk out of Pear Shape and then sleep on the street somewhere. And he's like, well, why do you all sleep in homes? You know, we don't do that in the outback. If I want to go for sleep, I just have a sleep somewhere, you know. It's just a different mindset of living.
He got settled in the comedy house in Muswell Hill. Does people remember the comedy house where they used to have a party every New Year? The comedy house. There's loads of comedians lived there up in Muswell Hill. It was about 10 years ago or something. But every New Year's Day, they used to have a sort of an industry party, and I just lived down the road.
Oh, I was never invited to that. Secret.
And I was driving back from Pear Shape to mine, and Jimbo had been emceeing at Pear Shaped, and offered to said, "Come on, I'll give you a lift back up." And he didn't want a lift; he wanted to walk from Pear Shape in Fitzrovia to Muswell Hill just to clear his head after Pear Shape.
Yeah, he stayed with us a few nights, and he walked from London out to Wembley, where we were, Sudbury. And he just walked along the canal and turned up on the door.
He was staying in Shepherd's Bush with Stephen Allen Green, and I was living in Peckham, and he used to come and visit me and walk that whole way. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Just walking everywhere. Apparently Van Gogh used to do that too. Van Gogh used to walk all the way around London. So
I think Dickens used to do it. It's just to watch people. Yeah.
Van Gogh, it's quite possible that Van Gogh walked from Brixton, where he was living, to the Fitzroy Tavern, because that's why I've got Van Gogh in my things, because it's quite...
In the early days of Pear Shaped.
Yes.
Back in the day.
There's context, and he was mates with Toulouse-Lautrec as well. So
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's all coming
It's all
back.
connected.
It's all connected.
And I'm going to introduce George Orwell soon as well.
George Orwell's just followed me on TikTok. It must be the right one. It must be the real one. Yeah.
Definitely him, Elise. Definitely him. Without a doubt. Definitely him.
Maybe some poetry from Dylan Thomas, yes.
Yeah.
What, Bob Dylan Thomas?
I read that when 1984 came out, he made loads and loads of money. George Orwell was like, "Why am I making money now when I'm going to die?" You think it's
Yeah,
I've been poor all my life, and now suddenly I'm a success, and it's no use to me. Yeah.
So it's all that margarine he ate.
I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to disappear for a second.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope he hasn't. He just switched his camera off. He hasn't left, has he?
Still here, yeah.
He's still here. Please don't lose Anthony's section. No.
No, stay with us. Stay. This is a very fine line. It strikes me because we've got the sort of weird, awkward gaps, and then everyone talking over one another. Fine line between heckling and awkward silence, isn't it? You know even what to do.
Yeah, we need a system.
Now we've just got the awkward silence.
Need a system.
But oh, my hair's all over the place. Yeah. Hey, what's that in the background? Krysstal's the in Australia with the little.
They're geckos.
Wow. Is it symbolic? Maybe not. I think there might be a delay. It's like 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or we're all talking at once.
You think you've said something bad? You go, oh.
Hey!
It's fake Guinness.
Fake Guinness, I was going to say.
Yeah.
This time of day, whatever time it is that this is screening.
Right.
Use a Jet Guinness Zero. You can have a fake Guinness at any time of day.
Yeah, wow.
But we're also on pear-shaped time, right? This is pear-shaped time, so.
Yeah.
So any time. All the times are all at times at
We've
once.
recorded 1 hour and 21 minutes, so.
Wow.
I think that would be enough.
That
I'm going to end
is-
the recording, but you can stay in the.
I think that's enough, don't you? I think that's enough.
Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Bye.
Well, that was what a marvellous show. I must say, I really enjoyed it. I thought everybody was absolutely hilarious.
But I can see you enjoyed something, yes.
In fact, I'm so happy that I would actually like to pay something.
Yes,
but I don't know. I don't know where to start. Actually, normally I have a little man who deals with the money for me, but he got in a fit of laughing and he seems to disappear somewhere.
I know how to do it.
So how do I pay?
Scan the QR code or follow the link.
Well, that was pear-shaped in Dystopia. Wednesday night at 8:30, once a month. Pear-shaped, and we hope y'all thought the show was really great. Last Wednesday of the month. Pear-shaped, if the comics made you grin, feel free to chuck a fiver in the bin.
Or 10 or more.
Pear-shaped in Dystopia. Wednesday night at 8:30. When does it run?
Oh my goodness, this is telling you, dear.
Listen.
There you are.
Is it next week?
Wednesday night no, end of the month, dear, end of the month.
Next month, the end of the month.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Well, I shall be here, so
yes,
thank you
will.
for everything.
It's all right.
And I'm just trying to figure out how to pay.
Well, you've been told, dear, if you haven't worked it out by now.